honorable sisters, brothers, and friends. Just time and preference of just the headlines, and then maybe a brief description. I want to sort of have it where it's complete, that for a year I've been really trying to just present challenges in the discipline of theology. Theology, in my opinion, man's greatest challenge. How did we get here? Why are we here? What best to do? But if I go into public, and especially if I try to exercise what I call my base golf, I hit a golf ball like a baseball, try to hit it over the wall like for a home run. That gives me upper body exercise, and then I go and I'm going to find those golf balls. So I'm thinking and concentrating on hiking uphill and wherever to get these golf balls, and that's keeps me in condition. I don't live to be 88 because Hoover wanted me to, or Hoover-ists. In fact, I barely survived accidents. A bullet going by me, falling and getting killed, especially where there's rebars and engineering construction. Absolutely true fact. Now, walking behind Bobby Kennedy to save his life. Why there was a gun with so many shots, or so many shots from supposedly, one of them was a guard, they say, behind Robert Kennedy. And they have where maybe so it was supposed to protect them, stood up, but the vehicle moved, and that's who shot Kennedy from the front. I don't say these, it's what it's been reported and verified. Sometimes 100% verification, absolute truth. But they cover that up or let it be, oh, that's back 25 years or 50 years. Well, I cannot lure myself any more time, even if I go into the public. Just have to, I ignore them, but just have to really laugh at them. It's criminally insane Homo Hoover-ists. And they're weirdo, psycho, crackpot, Homo Hooveristic gyrations. But, especially in my area, from Washington, D.C., the cold and the snow to come down in my area nice and warm, get per diem, expenses, hotels, restaurants. What a deal. Or they can move their family here. And then they always hit your family because you are so busy, a superhuman effort to protect your family. What can you do? They did that with one of my sisters. Fiendish use of her. And she would actually shout and scream that this is the best country. When I get here, I'll kiss the ground. And why? Well, when I went and visit Israel, they had a group went visit Israel. The Arabs shot at the bus. They're no good. Well, I happen to know that they dressed up as Arabs to kill women and children in a synagogue the night before, so that when he got there for the day to sign that Palestine would have their own country, he says, how can I sign? How can I say we have peace? How can I sign? This is war, war. And that's been, since that time on, it's been war, war. There was kind of fight wars before, but now it's definitely war, war. And one of the men that was in that group said that ain't wrong, and he wouldn't kill any women or children. So they kind of looked at him, and then he began to have where maybe he was barely surviving an accident. Because in that group, you can't leave them because you'll know what they've done. But he ran away, and they followed him, tried to kill him. And he came from Canada to the U.S. and was on U.S. TV. I saw him twice. This is absolute truth. They've tried to kill me, and they still might kill me. They want to kill me because this is the truth. We dressed up as Arabs and killed women and children in a synagogue the night before. If they would do that, and shoot at a bus, nobody got killed or injured, or just scared them. So they say it's the Christian and Jews against those dirty Arabs, those bad Arabs. They're not human. Well, they practice genocide on them and say, well, they're not human. When we were in North Africa in World War II, they saved our lives and then helped us in the desert, or some of us would have perished. True fact. They were our friends. But they have twisted that. It's the Christians, not the sons or daughters of anybody that voted to go to fight Iraq. No senator, son or daughter, because now they have women, which I don't say is correct, is in the army, in combat, maybe in clerical work and support work or something back in the States. Now, they they're making more and more money, and it's our poor people that don't have work. You say, well, I don't have work. Well, we'll give you a bonus to sign, or you can get an education as you go into the service, or if you join and when you get out, you'll be a citizen. Now, you risk their life, and they're getting killed, and then it's especially real bad for the mothers, of course, and the parents, especially for the single mother. Had a woman that went to say how bad and it was, her son was killed, and her son didn't really want to go over it. I guess in the reserves, yeah, you're reserved, but they can send you where they want to because you signed it. And then they send the reserves first. They're not like real soldiers. A lot of them do that and make a couple extra dollars, and it's patriotic. Somebody comes here, yeah, they'll fight. But to go over there, now they were stuck. They had to go over there. And he said he didn't want it, but he went there and he got killed or something. And then she went on a tour saying some of the things that were being corrupt. I forget the woman's name. They ruined, how many families have they ruined? It's true fact. So I'm saying these things because then I'm not going to take the time anymore to repeat them or even say them. If it's something I haven't happened to say before, I don't have the time to keep exposing them. There's a saying, no use beating on a dead horse. The King George, Queen Hoover, hypocrisy, not democracy, hypocrisy is a dead horse. Christ's main anger was not of a sinner, was of hypocrites. If you recall or read, that's where he showed about the only time he really had anger is like, yea, ye hypocrites. They even took religion and used to get those to go over there, lied about why they went to war, false reports with slick Willie Webster here, and their intelligence got together, and then it was exposed. Especially they had then publicly in the House of Commons, House of Lords there, that proved false reports. Now, in my opinion, theology is man's greatest challenge. How did we get here? Why are we here? What best to do? So they're going to have to come up to me. I'm not going to try to take any more time to beat on a dead horse those King George, Queen Hoover hypocrites. Make all that money in deals. And some of it actually deals of what it cost and the money they made and who got CEO of something, then he made money for that company. And the CEO of a bank got it was $365 billion, and then the second biggest bailout, he became in charge of the Federal Reserve. Is not a federal department. The government prints the money and gives it to this Federal Reserve, which is a private corporation, and usually get a CEO of a bank. And then he became then the next in charge of our money, and he obtained 335 billion. But he said, I think I'm quoting him, he said, why complain? He says, I'm doing good. He says, look, they gave them 365 billion. You only gave me so much, but he said, I'm saving you $30 billion. So maybe they got $335 billion. Hey, we got to be thankful. He saved us $30 billion to bank out those corrupt that ruin the economy, and we get $20 million as severance pay for being a failure in that bank. Well, the poor people, because of the economy then, couldn't keep their job and couldn't afford their home and would lose their home. And they gave them the money, the bailout. When the money they had, they could have paid off those homes, paid them off, let alone saved them. You see? I don't write these jokes. That's what the true facts are. So, my opinion, I'm going with theology. This is probably the last time I beat on a dead horse of that criminally insane that King George are connected to royalty. They should rule the King George, Queen Hoover. Hypocrisy. False reports go to war. How many were killed on false reports? But the big money deals. And then about everybody has now seen hundreds, even thousands of reports. The JFK assassination. I consider myself an expert in regards to that. Martin Luther King may be an expert in that. Robert Kennedy, nobody can say better than I can about who, why, what, and when, where, why, and how he was assassinated. I don't know. I was there. I was a gentleman that stood up, and his brother-in-law Steve Smith brain through on sessions and said, look, we are here to obtain what is best for Bobby to win. Now, Senator McCarthy is leading, and he's scholarly. And in a debate, he will be scholarly. But you know, it was inaugurated, and need I remind you, in Washington for Jack, and that's his brother, about having the Lincoln-Douglas debates returned, a renaissance I obtained in the discipline of political science called dirty politics by most for obvious reasons. So therefore, it's my opinion that Bobby has to debate Scholarly McCarthy. And Scholarly McCarthy will present himself and say, I will do what's best for you when I'm president. And Bobby will say, I will do what's best for you. Being Jack's brother, I will continue his good policies, and I will, for sure, do what's best for you in Washington. And the people will say, you know, yeah, I can trust him more. I will vote for him because he will do what he says when he gets to Washington. He's not just a politician. So that's what was done. He won the debate, and all he's got to do is keep himself alive. You understand who I am and what I did? Bobby, you do it my way. They have to get me before they can get you. Because Hoover knocked off Einstein the day before. He got angry and said, I don't care what he says, we're going to work together. When I can start to work, his living secretary profusely was crying, said he dropped dead last night. She took notes of our conferences. I can prove true facts. I have to talk fast. It's almost 15 minutes. I want to try to complete this in 15 minutes, certainly within a half hour. It could be about a half hour. Absolutely true facts. I invented the Xerox, X-E-R-O-X. X is an independent variable in mathematical physics. Patent attorney says, absolutely great. But the only way you can get it is in Washington, D.C. Good God, he was mad. Well, that's Hoover's hometown. I conferred with a top attorney. An hour, went over detail. He says, all right, you're obviously telling the truth. Let me clear this work I have. It's Monday. By Friday, I'll have it clear. You come in. And yeah, it is Hoover's hometown, and he has control. But this is my hometown, and I have some connections. With you as the plaintiff and me going at him legally, we're going to go after and get that. And he would swear. I mean, he would call him name. We're going to get him legally. Well, I called Wednesday, make sure he was right, because Hoover was moving ever faster and ever more vicious than anybody that would try to get him out, or he figured was a threat to the way he would control things. Sounded like him, but I says, where's, this great lawyer? He says, well, he dropped dead last night. Dropped dead? Last night? I talked to him Monday for an hour. He was in great spirits, great health. His brother said, I talked to him yesterday for most of the day, and he was in good health and no complaints. But they told me that he dropped dead last night and told me to rush back. Why? Well, they say they're rushing, they're going to bury him Friday. You see how fiendish Hoover was? When I shall go up there Friday, he wouldn't be there. Where's this attorney that's now legally get Hoover for the crimes he did against my father's family and me and other Americans? He experimented on Americans, men, women, and children. Experimented on my brother to death, experimented on me, experimented on other people. Experimented one woman to death they showed me. That woman hater, that pedophile, that they got his name on a building. It's people's money. That Homo Hoover. They have a museum where they entice young boys to idolize that pedophile. Absolutely true facts. Now, I should be one of the most honored and richest men in the world. I got it just the opposite. I'm nobody, haven't done anything. It's my word. Yeah, they throw things at me. So I get to a conclusion, look, in humanity, Hoover is the dirty waste products of humanity. What they do of killing patriotic Americans falsely, they are the waste products of humanity. So they bring dogs wherever I go to crap where I am, and then if I don't like it, I got to pick up their dog crap or try to exercise my golf in it. Plus the dogs that want to bite me, they hold them back. Look, if I let this dog go, it'll bite you, kill you. So one dog, the good thing I done private security work. I had on those thick, like policemen's tougher material pants. When it went to bite me, it didn't penetrate, and I could feel his teeth, the upper and lower jaw, slide along my leg. Yesterday, I went to a place I haven't seen anybody for 2 months. Nice, quiet, serene. I hit some golf balls every side. No, they got a fellow there, looks like a policeman's uniform. He comes by and his dogs run on, trying to, I can't bend down and I have to kneel on a kneeler because I've had severe back injuries. And so here they come running and circling me. No, gee, it's grumsy. I don't want to be, but they didn't bite me. Man never calls them. So I says, shouldn't you have those on a leash? Don't answer. Coming back, I thought, well, he went, no, coming back, same thing. And he laughs. Then he brings this dog over to my truck so they can urinate on my truck. They are the crap of humanity. So they try to throw as much crap at me. See, that's what they want, that level, not religion, theology, belief, philosophy, literature, good writings, poetry. I've written several poems just to challenge. They'd say, your English speaking, your voice and your English, your spelling is bad. Well, it wasn't my first language, and it's not my preferred language. It's kind of guttural. There are languages that the words end in a vowel. So it's pronounceable, it's pronunciation. You pronounce the word as, you spell the word as you pronounce the word. Therefore, I did what Ben Franklin, and I'm doing it now, and I may have time to do it, is what I call American Internet English. I think it's good. Then, so I've actually have done maybe more things in more fields than any man in the history of the U.S. In science, well, Edison may have actually more. He had a laboratory with a lot of help and could get patents all the time. I could only do it after my regular tough work, to get there, do the work, rest during lunchtime, regardless of the conditions, weather, personal conditions, and then get back and then work. And sometimes I work all night and then go to work again the next day of what I was making money to support my family and myself. Do you understand? If they can keep track of everything I do and put it in these equipments that work so fast, they then, if they can like control me, they can control anybody in the U.S. and maybe anybody. How clever. I've tried everything to bring them to justice. I've had senators turn white and shake them and walk away or say, well, I'll give it some thought. I had Bobby Kennedy hearing me ever more forceful, saying you've got to investigate that Hoover now, because he committed crimes, and especially against my brother. But Bobby, there was a wall with like a window, and it was open. Then after a while, he was talking back and forth. Well, he talked it over with Jack. When Jack's reelected, Hoover will be replaced. No, don't wait. You don't know how. He's getting more vicious, more fiendish. Anybody ever tries to get him out, they end up and usually murdered, drop dead. Night before, the attorney dropping dead. He's in good health, good spirits. Einstein, looking forward finally to working on a valid unified field theory. I told him my bold suggestions, and your real good mathematical physics ability, I think is natural. He says, you're right. We'll do that. He drops dead the night before. No. I did light amplification, stimulated electromagnetic radiation. I would purposely say it fast because it's difficult and complex, and I put forward the science of the laser futuristic multi-purpose coherent beams. I put it forward. Light amplification, stimulated electromagnetic radiation. I'll say it again, light amplification, stimulated electromagnetic radiation. I did it in 2 weeks time, under tremendous pressure to get it done as fast as I could, because they went with von Braun. He's a Nazi. Well, now he's here. He's not. I don't care. I'm not going to work under any Nazi. No. I think I have the best way. Hoover said, you always say you bet 1,000. You do it correct. And he was really getting bad about having to be second to yours truly. So I was on the inside, but on the outside. And if something happened to me, who would know his crimes and of me and what I achieved? So this country was under a secret pyramid of power with Hoover to point, and his Homo buddy number 2 that he said was like a scientist and inventor. We get patents. And I was a circle, and anything that came up, I put it in a discipline and then give the solution or my opinion. Like maybe half a dozen disciplines in a day. So Hoover said, well, now when it came to who could be president, that was the only one that could really fire him, or the Attorney General. He had control of that Justice Department building. I told them, you get that Hoover down here and let's have a lie detector test, because he says it's 100% right, and they should be forced them to do it. So he comes here, and on your desk, a supervisor, we'll have a lie detector to see who's telling the truth. Let's do that. Wow, you should have seen the backtracking. Everybody stopped talking. Oh, holy crap. I didn't realize Hoover had more power than the president, anybody. I find excuses. You understand? They even set it up where I could knock him off when he got so bad that they said, hey, that man is right, and if he gets public, he's going to bring in all of us of the FBI, Federal Bureau of Insane Hoover-ists, and the Justice Department. Hoover should retire, but nobody's can retire him because he'll knock him off. So they set it up where I can knock him off, believe it or not. I says, yeah, you want me to do your dirty work instead of you doing it legally, like that attorney wanted to do, and just fire him or replace him. Why should I then maybe be killed for bringing that Hoover to justice? My way of, bringing him to justice forcibly. No, I think Kennedy will fire him for sure. But do it now, don't wait. Because if you go to fire him and you wait, he'll fire on you, and that's what happened. And then Hoover was the investigator about what happened in that bullet that went this way and that way, which is laughable. Found a pristine bullet. And these are all true facts. So I want to present them like that for the last time, if you please. Because if I didn't get into politics, kind of rough and tough politics, I like the discipline of diplomacy. And it was me that insisted that now with my H-bomb, at a secret meeting I presented the H-bomb, an FBI science secret meeting at the University of Rochester's Advanced Physics Department Cyclotron building. So I was at the top, absolute top. But I found out Hoover was a queer, and I said, we got to replace that queer. Everything I say is absolutely true. I've done more good, or at least as good as anybody in the history of the United States. Yet I'm not known. They can say it's just him, his stories. No, especially you got to prove it in a court of law. So they always say, well, I've tried everything. The only thing left then, I think, is what they call the court of last resort, the court of public opinion. If the people of the U.S. know the true facts, they say, he's telling the truth. You must, by rights, God, humanity, Constitution, Bill of Rights that says my work is mine, no matter what anybody says it or does at any time, that's my work. You must, not could or should, you must give me the honors and reasonable compensation. Civil rights, etc. So I'm going to then have theology, man's greatest challenge. And it was Patton. I say it's theology, man's greatest challenge. And Patton says, no, it's military decisions. Those in India who kind of go into deep philosophy say it's philosophy. Everybody, my definition of philosophy is the study of opinions. Everybody has the right to their reasonable, moral, reasonable opinion. Now, I will definitely say it's theology, and I'll say good morning, good morning. Let's have a good day and move up into the discipline of theology. Thank you.